7 to 11 degrees. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
You're very welcome along to Thursday night's Off the Ball. It's Richie McCormack here with you until 10 o'clock tonight. On the way, Ulster says no. The IFA have poured cold water on the idea that there will be an All-Ireland, All-Island League, at least any time soon. We'll have John Giles in studio as well, looking back on what was a rather fun couple of nights of Carabao Cup action and the latest on Granit Xhaka at Arsenal as well, and all that goes with that. That's coming up after 7:30. After 8 o'clock tonight, we're going to be heading to Galway from a little bit of a look forward to our Connacht rugby documentary, From Grassroots to Green Shirts. We're going to be speaking to the Connacht contingent of Sean O'Brien, Quaylen Blade and Tim Allnut. And Nathan Murphy's been catching up with them. And on the football show, the idea of that All-Ireland League and a look forward to Cup Finals Day. This coming Sunday at the Aviva Stadium, Wexford and Peamount in the Women's Cup Final, and Dundalk and Shamrock Rovers in the main event.
Excuse me?
What? That's just something in my throat. Happy Halloween.
You have an affectation of some kind.
I don't know what happened there. Shane Hannon joins us in studio for for the Love Cannon. That's wrong.
Happy Halloween, Richie.
Happy Halloween, Shane. Dan McDonnell, soccer correspondent from the Irish Independent.
Would you, if it really meant a lot to people in your area or some kind of charity event, would you dress up as a Shamrock Rovers fan? Some kind of Halloween gathering.
There would want to be a lot of money involved for a very good cause.
It'd be good for your children or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
That would be good for my children.
Well, I mean, they said they really want something scary, and the idea of you wearing Rovers gear.
Me appearing in public is bad enough. Me appearing on camera is bad enough on Halloween. I don't need a mask. I've got this. Thank you, Shane. I've got this face to scare people. I don't need to scare them any further by wearing green and white hoops. Daniel,
I'm just saying it could really, it could work for you.
What was Halloween like in your area? Because I've seen a couple of messages on Twitter. We're kind of missing out on the fun and frolics of trick-or-treating.
Well, I don't know, is it more of a, I don't know about Shane, I know Shane, your man, but I don't know, did you grow up in more...
I forgot you was about Border County heads, yeah.
Yeah, but we have, where I grew up, there was 5 or 6 houses in a row, but on a bit outside of town.
So a built-up area for her.
So well, hang on now. So, the concept of trick-or-treating, it's not as if you
get it done in 15 minutes.
You go to, well, yeah, but beyond that, if you wanted to go further, you'd need, you're taking your life into your hands here, you know what I mean? Whereas, now living in Dublin, it's a bit different, where it's, particularly now, living in a sort of a long row of houses that people will come to your doors that you don't know, which seems to happen. Right.
The fireworks scene is stronger up in Monaghan than the trick-or-treating. Now, when I was a kid, trick-or-treating, but fireworks were the
fuel. Yeah, it's generally sort of any sort of...
Interesting times.
Yeah, we've heard Drew Harris enough in the news talking about how, we're explaining that the border counties and border area are not lawless. And here's Shane Hannon to tell us otherwise.
We, of course, had licences for the fireworks.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So I remember it was one of the first things back in the day when you cross the border and you're heading up towards Belfast and you're heading up, I suppose, towards Newry, first of all. The first thing you see is fireworks here. So,
everywhere.
Good times. Good.
Yeah, so we're missing out on it, though. But I think Dublin is a bit more, you will have sort of strangers coming, if you live in a particularly,
it is it basically becomes like that Curb Your Enthusiasm scene, whereby they're answering the door to trick-or-treaters and suddenly some 16, 17-year-olds pitch up in your door and you're fearful of what might happen next, so you just have to appease them and throw crisps and, little mini bags of Maltesers at them to make them go away.
There's a lot of people dressing up as the hard border for Christmas, or for Halloween this year, I've seen so far. Rebecca Vardy's tweet or Instagram post was another costume that I've
dress
seen.
up as a hard border?
Don't go there, Jen.
It looked like a wall, I guess.
I'll remind you, it's 7:06.
I wasn't going to go there, but yeah, it's an interest. There's a few interesting costumes out there this evening, but sadly we're here. We should have dressed up for the Newsround, but look.
You did. You came.
You can say that every evening, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. We all look like messes to some degree, but there we are. But we all got distracted here. I didn't even get a chance to harangue you about your challenging Mick McCarthy and the fact that you're bringing a negative attitude in towards the qualifier with Denmark next month.
No,
get on board, Dan. Get the green jersey
yesterday.
Get your green jersey on.
Get your green jersey on. Go green for November 18.
Everyone in.
That could be the plan.
Look at you, FAI Marketing Director Dan McDonnell.
No, but I mean, I'd rather they dealt with the FAI Cup first, to be honest, and then you can do. But typical looking ahead to the Denmark game. Yeah, I know. I just meant the point that Mick McCarthy's got involved in a sort of a siege mentality type thing on the basis of fairly bland enough criticism. There was some strong enough criticism around the Georgia Switzerland game, but it wasn't there wasn't a real sense of massive over the top.
There wasn't a wailing and gnashing of teeth. It was more of a
disappointment and a slight frustration and the belief that the team can be better. And I was just making the point that, you know, on one hand, you talk about, well, there needs to be a bit more positivity and you need to have a bit more, you know, belief. And then the flip side of that is, going back a small bit down the Martin O'Neill road of saying, I mean, Ireland are the third best team in the group. You would have taken this and started the group, i.e., what more could you do with these players? I'm doing the maximum you could do. So be more positive about these players. But by the way, they're not really that good just in case things go badly wrong. Like, which was the problem before. You know, do you have a bit more belief in thinking that actually Ireland can aspire? So, like, what's your argument? You know, maybe people who are unhappy with the performance against Georgia and Switzerland are actually, they're the real optimists because they believe that this group of players can actually be better than what they currently are.
To a degree, I can kind of see McCarthy's point in that I've gotten this sense the longer this campaign has gone on, that he feels like he would prefer to have a longer spell in charge of the side. And if he did have a longer spell in charge of the side, the be-all and end-all wouldn't be qualifying for Euro 2020. Which, for numerous reasons, one of which is we're bloody well part hosting the thing.
Yeah, there was never not going to be the be all and end all for whoever was in charge for this campaign.
But like more so because it's all he has to do, or all he's charged with doing, is to get Ireland to Euro 2020. So he just, much like we spoke about the way that South Africa just needed a way to beat Wales in the Rugby World Cup the other day. You just need to get over the line. That's what McCarthy needs. And he's doing it the best way he sees fit, and everything else doesn't matter. There's no sense of forming a team. There's no sense of building a squad for the next 3 to 4 years. It's just get there, and that's all you need to do. And he's probably seeing it from the point of view of, well, I'm trying to do that, but look what I have. It's not as if I can bring in a bunch of kids and, you know, also...
Okay, I know what you're saying, but I guess the point of the piece that I was writing was more so that there's clearly people... McCarthy says it's his friends who are telling him, you know, whoever these friends are, people close to him, are filtering negative comments to him, which is then leading to him coming out, particularly around the Switzerland game, and just being a bit sarky and a bit spiky and sort of presenting an image that when the team isn't going well, it's actually more asserting... It's actually making people think, oh, yeah, I mean, God... this lad, you know, and they're actually not that enthusiastic about the team and they're sort of looking forward to the changeover, and then he's getting annoyed about people talking about the changeover, and it all just leads to this cycle of negativity. And he was trying to come back on board and say, can everyone just get back on...
Well, we're 180 minutes away from Euro 2020.
Let's just, not even 90 minutes away. Yeah. So let's get back.
But as it was before his that's what you're saying.
But let's get back and be more positive, and I get that, but it's just, you know, it's just all a bit cranky and a bit unnecessary. You know?
That's what seems...
But my point is that when, like, Ireland on November 18 at 7:30...
When we're going green on November 18.
November 18, I think they did that for actually a previous game. I've just taken it.
It's good, recycle it then.
But
reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yeah, go green, recycle. But the that's a perfect segue.
We're done.
The stadium will be absolutely heaving. Fans aren't that influenced by what people say. Sadly, in the media, fans are not that influenced by negative commentary. It does not lead to a negative mood in the stadium. But the people will be absolutely hopping at kick-off time for that game. The stadium will be full. The place will be full of optimism because by the time the game gets closer, people always believe that it might actually happen. Yeah. And the team have the chance then to write the story of their campaign. Like, if there's negativity, it's because of results and performances, but they have the chance, which is a good thing, to change that. But like the ground will be heaving, and I don't know, are people telling them that there's a more downbeat view out there than there actually is?
Well, that's what he mentioned in Geneva. He's like, I keep getting sexy and F the begrudges. I'm like,
from who?
That's what I'd like to know.
Like the whole peddlers of doom and gloom thing. That statement when it came out initially was in an FAI TV official video. It was an official message from the FAI with Mick McCarthy responding to criticism from faceless critics.
The media, Dan.
But like, it's one thing. But it's actually been brought up. This is the official message.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway. Mick saying nobody thinks we're any good, says one texter. 53106, by the way, is the number. Well, if he thinks we are good, why doesn't he ever say, yeah, I think we will win, or yes, we are the better team? Because along with that texter, I think he's honest. I don't think he wants to come out and say that we are going to be...
No, but then, like, I see that point.
Yeah. Jack in Santry has been on. Trick or treat is only an Americanism. We always said help the Halloween party in Ireland, or at least in Dublin. We're losing our very traditions by adopting another country's interpretation of it. I will point out at this juncture that he has spelled Halloween without the apostrophe. Same with Christmas and St. Patrick's Day. We'll be next. Stop. How are we going to bastardize St. Patrick's Day? We're going to... anymore.
Start calling it St. Paddy's Day.
Patty's Day.
Yeah.
St. Patty's Day.
Paddy's Day.
God. Stop this. Help the Halloween party, says Jackie and Santry. A salutary message. Thank you for that.
I've never heard of that.
No, it's called trick or treat.
No, I've helped the Halloween party used to be... granted, I'm elderly.
You're a Jackie as well, so that's fair.
Please don't point that out. So we used to have a bit of help the Halloween party back in the day when I was a kid.
Ah. Is it the same? Is it just a gaff party basically?
No, it's like...
No, it's like, give us stuff.
Give me stuff.
So it is trick or treating with a different name.
Fill my plastic bag full of stuff that will make my teeth rot.
Okay.
A chomp or something, you know.
Somebody had some classic artwork, pardon me for not knowing who it was, of like the old Halloween look for people. So in Cork it was at the time. So somebody holding a roaches bag with the old blue monster mask and there's an old witch's mask, and instantly I was like, they were the two masks, the only two masks you could get back in the day, and the bin bag for the thing. But they had a smiley bar sitting on top of this.
Oh, yeah.
God, what I wouldn't give for a smiley bar right now.
Shane even remember this?
I'm more of a refresher, Stinger, Freddo type.
That's because you're 12, Shane.
Yeah. You're so old, you see. That's the.
Thank you. Get on with the Newsround, Shane. Stop annoying me.
Yeah, well, we'll start with the All-Ireland League, Richie, because the Irish Football Association have released a statement today appearing to pour cold water on the idea of that All-Ireland League. The league had been proposed by businessman Kieran Lucid. However, the Northern Irish Association say they have concerns over what they call speculative potential income figures. They have, though, reiterated that they still greatly value their club links with the FAI.
We speak about this in the football show a little bit, Dan, the fact that it seems as if this is dead in the water. I suggest that there's enough wiggle room in what the IFA are saying that they want more specificity or guarantees on the figures. They also want ring-fenced UEFA competition places, prize money, and youth solidarity funding, that kind of
stuff. Well, I mean, the statement, subsequently, Kieran Lucid's group have released a statement to suggest that they are not done with this, that their objective remains improving the lot of professional football on this island. And in other words, they're basically going to say, well, we're going to try to hope that the clubs stick with us and they'll up the ante on their association. Like the association, yes, they do have to give approval, but if all the clubs come to the association and say, we want this, there comes a point where...
Because essentially that's what happened in '92 in England.
Yeah.
The clubs went, or at least the big six went, listen lads, this ain't working for us.
Yeah, no, there isn't evidence there. There isn't evidence there at the moment that the clubs north of the border are united enough to do that. But I think that the hope from Lucid's people will be that if they keep talking...
Division in the north, Dan.
As if there's such a thing. Like, you would suggest that it might be hard to... Are you suggesting it might be hard to get things done in Northern Ireland?
I don't know.
But they get some kind of assembly together. There's some kind of system together.
Stop with your fanciful thinking, Daniel.
Yeah. Like, so maybe it's just because I've been watching that Spotlight programme over the last 6-7 weeks, and a much more serious topic, but it does sort of explain, like, there is massive, like, in all seriousness, there's massive complications and sensitivities with this idea. Like, it was never going to be smooth. It's never going to be easy, and like it was never going to happen in a short time frame.
It seems easier to convince because the FAI seem happy enough to let, if the clubs, but they're happy enough that whatever the clubs decide, if they decided en masse, they'll let them go and do whatever, because the outward opinion is that the FAI would be happy to be rid of the league.
They're thinking, this is costing us a few quid here.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas,
or is it?
Everything is slightly better organised, it would seem, on a ministerial level up north. So they don't want to necessarily lose the league.
Yeah, and I think you can't generalise in terms of like representing the Northern Irish view, but I think they are very proud of their competitions up there. You know, I remember going up to the Northern Irish Football Writers Dinner, and like, you know, and they are very open towards cross-border competitions, but very much that they're in a place.
They're in their own box.
And I remember, like, when the Setanta Cup existed, you go up to their dinner, and very much like the soccer writers down here, part of the formulaic aspect of the speeches is, and, you know, congrats to the winners of the cup, they were, congrats to the winners of the league and whoever. And you'd always mention down here the Setanta Cup winners, well done to Drogheda or whoever won it that year. And you go up there and there'd be no mention of the Setanta Cup at all. It's like something that didn't happen during the year. Like, it's very much the Irish League, the Irish Cup, you know, our competitions.
After looking at some of the attendances in the Stand Sports Cup and remembering back in the day at the time, a lot of people would generally.
But they took it. But no, the irony is that they actually probably took it more seriously to a degree in the initial days in the Southern clubs. Then they started getting beaten in it, and I think they found it a bit harder. And I think that there is a fear that clubs will be lost and that they will find it hard to compete with the bigger country, you know, and the more powerful league. But the flip side of that is, I mean, the Belfast clubs are big operations, you know, and there is a lot of potential here. And I just don't think that a governing body should be trying to shut it down before the idea has been fully explored.
Yeah, I think they probably need a bit more convincing.
Yeah, they're right to look for more, but not to put out a very definitive statement like that.
Yeah. Would it make Irish clubs stronger in Europe, you reckon?
I just think you have to try and aspire towards like a full-time league and
being a better league.
More competitive
the idea
games.
of Europe is leave that be the eventual product. But
yeah,
I think getting a league that works would be a huge thing because we don't have one, especially on
well, I mean, Linfield and Glentoran are like, in particular, but there's other clubs. I mean, Crusaders, Cliftonville, like these are properly big clubs. Like you're talking about, you know, areas where, I mean, in particular with say Linfield and Glentoran, where they don't have, the fan base isn't pulled by GAA. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like the attendances that they would get at some of those derbies for league regular matches would get really big crowds, and the stadiums are in a good place. So if you can add proper entities and, you know, add them to the better clubs that are here, you have the chance to create something better. Like there's massive hurdles to cross, and I just don't think you should dismiss it so easily. And I think there's definitely a narrow-minded aspect of people being very quick to dismiss it.
We had at 7 a.m. the press release we all love to get.
Indeed, we love to get these ones. But All-Ireland hurling champions Tipperary have 7 players on this year's PwC Hurling All-Stars team. Defender Pádraig Maher will collect his 6th award tomorrow night, equaling Nicky English and Owen Kelly as the Premier's leading recipients. Maher's brother Ronan wins his 2nd award, with Brian Hogan, Cathal Barrett, Brendan Maher, Noel McGrath and Seamus Callanan also selected. Kilkenny, represented by Pádraig Walsh, and Ballyhale duo Colin Fennelly and TJ Reid. Lee Chin and Diarmuid O'Keefe win awards for Wexford, with Sean Finn and Aaron Gillan picked for League and Munster champions Limerick. Cork sharpshooter Patrick Horgan completes the 15. The football selection, of course, will be announced at the awards tomorrow night.
Jurgen Klopp, straight after the game last night, was having a defensive stance of his own, Shano?
Yeah, Klopp hoping a solution can be found to solve his side's fixture congestion. And Liverpool's League Cup win over Arsenal on penalties last night means their quarter-final against Aston Villa may be in doubt. The tie is due to take place the week commencing December 16th. That's close to when the Merseysiders have Premier League and, of course, Club World Cup commitments as well. Speaking after last night's game, Klopp says the scheduling is an issue.
If you don't find a proper date for us, then we cannot play the next round, and whoever's our opponent will go through. Or Arsenal plays it. I cannot change that. Only we ignored that problem completely for tonight. I think a lot of people from the Premier League were sitting in front of the television hoping that Arsenal can do it. But I'm sorry.
Potentially 9 games in December for Liverpool should that Villa quarter-final go ahead. And the date that it's scheduled in, Chris Bascom from The Telegraph saying it's a potential possibility that they could have 2 separate teams being fielded between Birmingham and Qatar over those 2 days. All this week we're giving you the chance to win a spectacular prize with thanks to Virgin Media Sport. It is a trip to Stamford Bridge for Chelsea's Champions League meeting with Lille. That is on December the 10th. You're going to get a pair of tickets for the match, flights and accommodation, a pre-match meal at Stamford Bridge, always good for the grub according to Nathan Moose Murphy, and Centenary Club padded seats in line with the 18-yard line. To be with a chance of winning, just identify tonight's mystery voice, who, much like myself, has never been a fan of his own hair.
It just doesn't sit right.
And again,
it just doesn't sit right.
He has that problem, that's why he shaved it on occasion. Text your name and your answer if you think you know who that is to 53106. The text will cost you 30 cents. We'll carry out our end of week draw on tomorrow night's show. And I should tell you that we're going to be live from the venue at the Hotel Imperial next Monday. That's November the 4th. We're going to have Niall Quinn, Keith Andrews, Damien Delaney as well on the show. That show was completely sold out, but due to demand, we've added a few more tickets. So get on to offtheball.com/events now to get your tickets. And it's all thanks to Virgin Media Sport. Their rivals might want you to charge for every kick of the ball, but Virgin Media are freeing sport by giving customers access to a wide array of sports as part of their standard TV pack. Just a note on Richard Keogh and the latest on that at Derby, Shane.
Yeah, Derby County manager Philip Cocu says the decision to sack Richard Keogh was a club decision. The Republic of Ireland international defender was released from his contract yesterday. The 33-year-old, of course, suffered knee ligament damage as a car passenger when it was involved in a drink driving incident after a club team bonding night. That was last month. And Dutch boss Cocu says the decision was one made by the higher powers in the championship club.
It's been a club decision. It's very complicated, but we have to make sure we try to focus on our game on Saturday. We cannot go by that easily, because Richard, of course, has been here for a long time, but like I said, because it's a club matter, I cannot give any comment on it at the moment. Like I said before, it's not up to me to give any reasons. So the club, at the moment they will clarify why, but because it's a club matter, it's not up to me to give any response on it. The event, the Tuesday, had a big impact, and then it still has effect on the players, on the group, on the club. So that's obvious, yeah.
Yeah, it's a decision that's over Philip Cocu's head. It's one that we're not going to have heard the end of as well. This is one is going to go further and further and further, and it's going to be ugly too. We talk about that in the football show as well. Big news though, Shane. We have to squeeze this in before we shoot off towards 7:30 and John Giles from Saudi Arabia this evening. Tyson Fury has made his wrestling debut.
He has. This is obviously huge news this evening, Richie. Lineal World Boxing Champion Tyson Fury makes his professional wrestling debut in Saudi Arabia. He takes on the monster among men, Braun Strowman.
It's all over.
It's all over.
It's all over.
WWE's Crown Jewel event, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Fury says, if you think wrestling is fake, you need to try it.
Been hard training. Anyone who says that it's not hard training needs to go down and have a little whirl and come back and let me know how easy it is. Obviously, I'm not used to getting smashed onto the floor and suplexed across the ring and 2-feeted out of the ring. Not used to any of that.
Yes, as I mentioned, he's actually won his inaugural wrestling contest. It was a count-out victory, so much like being lineal world champ, it doesn't technically mean much. But he beat Braun Strowman over.
Was that in the script?
Dan, come on, you're better than this.
I had to.
Should be covered,
I had to Google suplex. I won't lie. I had to Google suplex earlier. I wasn't sure what that was. So Dan, if you're not sure what a suplex is, it's an offensive move used in both professional and amateur wrestling.
Yeah.
A throw that involves lifting the opponent and bridging or rolling to slam the opponent on their back. Many different variations of suplexes. Some of my favourites: fisherman suplex, the tornado suplex, the vertical suplex, the cobra clutch suplex, and my personal favourite, the crotch clutch suplex. So that's a move I hadn't heard of.
Some of them sound like a good night out of Monaghan, to be fair.
They do. Let's be honest. Yeah. So that's
the suplex is the leisure facility on the outskirts of Monaghan.
Come to the suplex. We've got 4 lanes of bowling.
No, that's not what we sound like.
I think that was an IFA statement you actually read there, to be honest.
Potential income figures quoted, or possibly. That is it for the news round tonight. Thank you, Shane, and thank you, Dan. We'll let you go out trick-or-treating or helping the Halloween party, as people suggested this evening as well. Still to come, we'll be off to Connacht to talk to Quayle and Blade, Tim Allnut and Sean O'Brien about our new Connacht documentary that you can see on Sunday week. We'll also have Dan back for the football show after 9 o'clock too. More on Mr. Lucid's proposals and just notice there's cobwebs.
And there's a spider beside you there.
There you go. Is there stuff up here? Breaking the fourth wall. And up after this, we're going to be talking about a rather entertaining week in the Carabao Cup and Granit Xhaka situation at Arsenal with John Giles.
Off the Ball on News Talk.
Life these days is all about compromise. A little give and take. You've got to give a little to take a little. You can have this with that, but you can't have that with this. Well, now you can. The all-new Opel